Welcome to the Hildebrand Project's December video newsletter. My name is John Henry Crosby. I'm the founder and president of the Hildebrand Project. I'm here with my colleague, Christopher Haley, our director of publications and marketing, and we are excited here in the Christmas season to brief you on what happened in the course of this very eventful year and to give you a preview of what's to come. So, Christopher, tell us about publishing.
Well, we were able to publish 3 books this year. We began the year with Personalism of John Paul II, and later published Hildebrand's Ethics, a monumental work. And we added one special book for this year, the Hildebrand's Jaws of Death, Gate of Heaven, which is a meditation on death and dying and the hope of heaven. It's a beautiful book. We weren't planning on publishing, but because of so many people having to confront the question of death and mortality this year, we thought that was a special book that we should rush to publication. So those were our 3 publications for this year.
Right. No, a fruitful year. Well, and then the next sort of major pillar of our work this year was our annual summer seminar, which we normally do in person at Franciscan, would have been our 10th annual. But of course, COVID threw us a loop, and we decided to host a virtual event. And it was very important to us not to do something just sort of kind of a replacement until we can get back to in person. We really went all out and did a significant online event, left really nothing to chance, and had a wonderful participation. We had over 700 attendees, very high participation rates. We had 10 out of 10 people surveyed afterwards said they would attend another Hildebrand virtual seminar, which was wonderful. Only 6 out of 10 would do an in-person event. And what lies behind that is that these are significant numbers of people from around the world who would not be able to join us in person. So we found, in a sense, a larger audience than we've found before at our summer seminars. And we're just delighted to be able to do this. And that experience of the virtual seminar became a very significant inspiration for further programming this year.
Yeah, so we took that and we ran with it. And it helped us solve a problem we've wanted to solve a long time, which was how do we get more people to read more books? Sounds simple enough, right? But something our friend Dana Joya said to us a long time ago is you can't just publish books, you have to help build a community of readers. And so to do this, we've launched our online reading groups, which allow people anywhere in the world to sign up to read a book with our faculty, with associated scholars, with staff of the Hildebrand Project. All of our books, some of the sessions are 1-session introductory sessions. Some of them are more in-depth 4-session meetings that really go through a text in detail. We have programs where we can bring reading groups to you, to your university, to your seminary, to your parish, to your reading group, whatever it is. And so these have already been very well received. We did one at Mundelein Seminary, which was wonderful. We've had groups all over the world already.
And the one at Mundelein specifically for faculty as a form of faculty formation.
And so these are great opportunities. If you haven't participated in one, I really encourage you to do so. If you have ideas for them, let us know. It's a very responsive program, and it's been off to a great start. We started with 19 of them, I think, and I think we've covered all of our books already. And so this is something we'll keep doing and keep refining. But it's been a great program so far.
You mentioned associated scholars in regard to the reading groups. Associated scholars that is the sort of 4th significant achievement of the year that we want to mention here. The original inspiration for associated scholars has been in some sense changed, but realized also in the online reading groups. They were originally conceived as a visible community of Hildebrandian personalist scholars, visible both to other scholars. We've found that often people don't know each other in this space, and then of course visible to our audience. And we had intended for them to run university chapters. And those university chapters are what you mentioned, the university circles, that is to say virtual reading groups for people at a university. But these associated scholars rose to the occasion and ran most of these reading groups and had a wonderful time running them, and we're just so delighted that they were able to participate. And we're just also delighted to be able to host the community of scholars that is the leading, that that contains the leading scholars dedicated to Hildebrand and to personalism. And of course, more on that to come as that program grows and develops.
All of these programs you'll see have I think, two major themes, and these are going to be our guiding themes, not just for this year but for the coming years: scale and depth. Right? So all of these programs help scale, bring the Hildebrand Project events and books to more people, but also give a way to get more in depth into the books, with ways to read the books with people and to study the books, not just read them on your own. So those are going to be the two guiding principles for a whole set of activities that we're launching soon. In publications, we're going to publish more small books, right? More of our pocket book sizes, we call them, that will focus on particular topics, particular themes, for people who are interested just in that, or as an easy way to get into Hildebrand. We're also, of course, still working on our translations. We have Metaphysics of Community underway, as well as Hildebrand's Habilitation. We're going to be creating study guides for a number of the works. These would be useful for parishes, for schools, universities, any group that wants to use them, and also curricula that are going to be specifically designed, starting with high school curricula, and hopefully branching out into other areas as well. So people who are interested can just pick this stuff up and teach it, right? It'll be helpful to faculty, it'll be helpful to students. So we have a whole array of these projects underway. They're going to guide our publishing for the next couple of years, in addition to, of course, continuing with the major works of Hildebrand. So we have a couple of books that are nearly complete that we'll be releasing very soon. What is Philosophy? And John Henry's favorite, the essays on Mozart, Schubert, and Beethoven. So stay tuned for all of that, and more events as well, which John Henry will tell you about.
Well, clearly a very fruitful agenda there in the Hildebrand Press. Looking to our other big category, which we refer to frequently as events and formation. This picks up the other dimension of the project, the community dimension, the intellectual formation, the scholarship, and so on. So, chief among those, of course, are our summer seminars, and we will continue to run those and improve them and grow the community of both faculty and participants in the years to come. From this year's experience of a virtual seminar, we're absolutely committed to continuing a virtual component of our summer seminars. That is to say, when they go back to being in person, there will still be something that we offer for that virtual audience that can't join us. So we look forward to doing that beginning in 2021. Our associated scholars, as I've mentioned, of course, we intend to grow their numbers because there is indeed a very large community of Hildebrand and personalist scholars out there. I mean, I think I've said to you, Christopher, that I think there's easily over 100 really, significant, capable people in the field. And I think people just don't know that. And I think a lot of these scholars don't know that. So we're very excited to grow their numbers and, of course, collaborate with them on the whole array of programming that we're able to launch now. Our colloquia that I mentioned, our intention is at least 2 of those a year. And I love this one data point that one of our associated scholars attended the American Catholic Philosophical Association's conference this year, which was virtual. And of all of the papers he heard, the majority of them made some reference to Von Hildebrand. And the majority of those references came from people who had been invited to our colloquia in 2019 and early 2020. And what it means to us is that those events really work. They're not just pleasant weekends where you get to speak with interesting people and you go back and move on to your own work. It shows us that at least the group that we've invited thus far has really taken with them the encounter with Von Hildebrand and brought it into their own work. So we're very happy about that because that's all part of our goal to grow that next generation of scholars. And finally, our online reading groups, the university circles, and the partnership events, those will all continue. That's a particular area of growth for us in 2021 and beyond. We will launch more of these essentially in waves of maybe every couple of months in the course of the spring and the fall, possibly the summer. And we're just really excited to see how those will grow and develop. So a very fruitful multi-year agenda here that brings together so many of the things that we've done over the past couple of years. And this is a wonderful moment, Christopher, I think, for us to, share some thoughts briefly on those who make this work possible, our generous benefactors?
Well, I like to say these events are not free, they're complimentary. They're complimentary of our many generous donors, of our monthly donors who help us keep these things going and make stable, predictable plans so we can actually launch new programs. We try to keep, we've sold or distributed almost 20,000 books now. In part, we can do that because we're able to keep our prices low. We don't have to, not naming names, but we don't have to charge $80 a book for Hildebrand's titles. But the only reason that we can afford not to do that is because we have donors who are supporting us, and we're very grateful to them. And we hope that if you've enjoyed these programs and look forward to the things that we're talking about, that you'll consider joining their ranks and helping to support us with our new plans as well.
Yes, thank you, Christopher. And thank you for acknowledging our donors. I think we should really underscore that our benefactors this year really stood by us in a very difficult year, including in a difficult moment earlier in the year when there was so much economic uncertainty, and we did not lose a single pledge. People really stood by us, allowed us to do our virtual summer seminar. So our deepest thanks to all of them. And of course, an invitation to all of you who watch this video to either join us for the first time as a benefactor or continue your support of our work. As I hope you can see, we make the most with the resources that are entrusted to us. We are very ambitious, and we are always looking for more that we can do, and that is made possible by you. So we ask you to consider continuing your support or beginning your support at the end of this year. And final point before we sign off here, those of you who, if you already follow us on social media or email, that's wonderful. That's the best place to hear about our work. But if you haven't yet, please follow us either on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, or sign up for our email newsletter. That is the best way to know about all the wonderful work that will be unfolding in the course of 2021. And we look forward to resuming with you after the start of the new year, and wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.